Well, welcome everybody and good morning. It's from the first leg of our 24 10K. We're at this awesome little camp spot. We've kind of been hopping our way down through southwestern Wisconsin and into Iowa. We're about 500 miles in so far. And this is Lake of Three Fires.
Which is absolutely beautiful.
We've had this entire place to ourselves for the last couple days. We're just working out the bumps and getting used to everything, getting our rhythm again on the road. So I'm gonna give you a quick pan here. This entire park. And the lake down there. It's beautiful. We've had the whole place to ourselves. Now granted, it is a Monday, Tuesday in late August, and it's been hot.
Very
Past
hot.
couple days it was in the 90s and 80% humidity, and the feels like temperature was above 100. So we just kind of hung out here, hanging out with the dogs, parked up in the back of the Jeep there. But we're getting ready to roll further west this morning. So first things first, let's pop the hood and check things over in the Jeep. So I guess technically this is day 4. Yeah. Day 4 of our 10,000 mile journey. And first leg of that was coming out of Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. So south central Wisconsin. And we found this little campground and just off the Mississippi River in southwestern Wisconsin. And following that the next day was absolutely beautiful campground. But we found a little ferry that went across the Mississippi. That was just cool. It's called the Nelson Dewey Ferry. And it had been running since before Wisconsin was a state. Really cool. It used to be pulled by horses on a treadmill, and really cool history to it. And I've traveled across that on the La Crosse Bridge and in Iowa and the various bridges, but taking the ferry was a cool experience. And the first time this was floating on water. So that was pretty cool. Beautiful wooded state park there on the edge of Wisconsin too. Then we've hopped our way through Iowa a little bit. And Iowa has some really beautiful parks. It's not remote, but it's beautiful. It's a great way to get out into nature. But get started, check on a few things here this morning. Well, we're not leaking. That's shocking. Coolant's up and full. We're happy about that. Good starting with fluids. This thing's been running pretty good. I mean, we're only 500 miles in, but we're heavy, going slow. Really enjoyed taking a bunch of the back roads in Iowa. We haven't been on the road for a while and definitely haven't done any trails in a while. So even getting on a gravel back road in Iowa was felt like we were rock crawling. It was great just to get the dust and the crunch of the gravel. And this has been running really well so far. We only run about 55 and really enjoy taking the back roads so you can really see the country and the small towns and see how people live in the different portion of the country. It's been really cool. However, when we pulled into camp yesterday, this was running a little rough. It sounded like it was missing or lean popping. So I've recently done the intake and exhaust gasket on this, so I'm just going to run through. I don't believe I have any vacuum leaks. So I'm going to run through and check some of those bolts. Hopefully none of those have backed out. And it was also really hot. So might have had a little heat soak. Not totally sure, but it was running a little rough. So I'm going to give these bolts a once over and see how it runs this morning. did a bunch of work to this to work on keeping our intake air temperatures down, wrapping the exhaust, and I got a little bit out of that. These are also, I believe, the original injectors, so we'll see what we end up with. Well, quarter turn there. There too. A little bit out of that one. I'll jump underneath and get my arm full of titanium exhaust wrap and check the ones on the bottom. Well, a few of those were backed off about a quarter turn, some a little more, so it's a little concerning. But if we were sucking a little bit of air, that would have done it. So we'll keep an eye on that. If I hear that, I could hear a little bit, it almost sounds like a dog whistle when it's a real faint intake leak. It sounds like a real high-pitched whistle. So I'll keep an eye on those and see how that goes today. Other than that, we're looking good. I'll put our tools away, wrap up camp here, fold things up, keep pressing west. See you in a little bit on the road. Here comes groceries, huh?
Yeah, got everything we needed.
Nice.
And 7 gallons of water.
Stopped off at Whole Foods for a resupply of food and water. And while a filtration system someday on a bigger rig would be nice. Until then, we go in and buy out all the gallons of water, refill them on the rig. It works.
And I'm just restocking and reorganizing the kitchen. One major thing we like to do when we're traveling is baby food. It's a great way to get your fruits on the road, and it's easy and convenient. You're not getting any smushed bananas or rotten apples. Normally we keep them on top so they're easy to grab. And then one major thing when we are driving too is sandwiches. And then everything is kind of just like Tetris, putting it back in here, rotating, putting the old things up top and the new things on the bottom, and just reorganizing everything. So once we get this, we're going to make some sandwiches out here.
Gonna restock the pantry, water, make some quick lunch, hang out here in the parking lot and eat that. Keep barreling down the road. What do you think, Blue? You want a sandwich too?
She says yes.
A little update from the road. Iowa was beautiful. Just cruising through Nebraska. Still lots of corn. Little engine update. Yeah, those intake bolts were a little loose, causing a little lean condition and sucking air. But tightened them up and it's been running great all day. So that is pleasant. Now we're headed down a little dirt track to a state park, I believe. It has some dispersed camping. So we'll see what that looks like here in a minute.
There's probably some cool grass.
We found the remote campground. And it's really cool. It's down this dirt road, and it's pretty. There's a little lake back here. But all the signs say vehicles keep off grass and tents only. So I'm not sure if you're supposed to park on the side of the road and then, just carry all your gear down. But regardless, that's not going to work for us. It's the tent's mounted on the roof. So we'll press on and find the next one.
Say that this place did not work out.
Yeah, this did not work out as planned. Sites were it's set up for a campground for RVs and things like that. So there's a bunch of sites, all the RV hookup, but it's all wide open. It's $40.
40. You're clear.
So we have to get a Nebraska Parks Pass, which I didn't know. Whatever. That's $14 a day, and then for the only sites available that we can use are $25. It's just not our style. So we're gonna see what else we can find.
And probably get to camp at dark.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is dark again. It's kind of my style. So, see what we find in a little bit.
Alrighty.
We found a spot. We pressed on a little bit and got just west of a storm, actually, so that's a benefit for us in the open air rig. So another park pretty much all to ourselves. Not bad. Only $29 for this one.
Which will take that.
Right. So pupper's having a snooze. We whipped up some chorizo tacos. We're gonna get down on some food and call it a night.
I am definitely ready. It's been a long, hot day.
It's been a long day. It's really humid still. So I'm looking forward to breaking the Rockies soon and getting back into the dry air. But for now, I'm gonna crush some of those tacos. See you guys in the morning. A little update for you. This morning we just packed up camp and barreled out of there pretty quick. Ended up missing a storm, so that was nice. I just kind of barreled on the road and cruising across rural Nebraska. I stopped off at a little town, had a little lunch. I love checking out all these little towns, and this place in particular. This playground reminds me of my childhood. Did y'all ever have one of those? Or an uncle that spun you around there so fast you flew off? I did. And An old swing set, wooden seats, chains, pinch your hands real hard. Oh, nostalgic. It's going good so far though. Jeep's running good. We're recovering ground, gaining elevation. Most of Nebraska is really straight and uphill. It's very slowly uphill. But yeah, it's going good so far. Check in again in a bit. This is wild. Gorgeous lake. Never thought we'd be beach camping in Nebraska. All right, welcome back. We found ourselves at a beautiful state park in southwestern Nebraska, next to this gorgeous lake and beautiful wooded backdrop. We're out here all on our lonesome again. It's really nice. But tonight, let's make some food. I'm gonna make one of my comfort food meals, a little pasta and marinara. We'll start off with some water here. Part of our 24 10K challenge here is doing this all solely out of the Jeep, and so every meal prepared out of this Jeep. Part of that's a fun challenge, and part of it's a real necessity for me. I actually have a boatload of food allergies, and some of them are severe anaphylaxis. So it's important for me to prepare all my own meals so we don't find ourselves in deep dung out in the middle of nowhere. Or I get a pot of water going for some pasta. Hi, Blue. Hi, Blue. You gonna watch the water? Keep an eye on it. That's heating up. I'm going to whack through some fresh garlic. It's actually the only fresh ingredient for this whole meal. Everything else is boxing out of the pantry, which is convenient for what we're doing, keeping dry goods. Ooh. All right, a little chopped garlic, get a pan on. That get cooking about medium heat. Healthy portion of olive oil. Drop some garlic in here. Now here, I don't care that the pan's not hot, or I don't want this to sizzle and fry. I just want to sweat it a little bit. If it fries and turns brown, the garlic can get a little bitter. So this, I just want to sweat it out. Let that garlic come to life. Give that a minute. It's always a little challenging to control your heat depending on the ambient air temperature wherever you are. Like right now it's pretty hot. It's probably about 90 degrees outside. And then controlling the flame outside, eyeballing all that on a camp stove compared to when you're cooking at home. Just keep an eye on it. If it's too hot, you just pull it off the heat, right? Like, you don't have to fidget with that. Just want that to sweat out a little bit. Wish there was smell-o-vision. This garlic smells fantastic. Just sweat out a little bit. Add some finely chopped tomatoes. I really like Italian tomatoes for this sauce, for marinara in general. I really do think there's a taste difference. Sweet. A little carton of some strained tomatoes. Alright, now for one of the most valuable tools in a cook's arsenal, the spice cabinet. So half this drawer is just solid spices. So we can take some pretty ordinary ingredients and turn them into several different things depending on what direction we go. Because this is Italian, go a little oregano. Basil.
Starting to fart.
Alright, starting to fart. Turn you down for a second. We got work to do. Yeah, alright. Basil and plenty of it. Fresh cracked pepper. I've got this pepper grinder dialed pretty fine, so I'm not getting big chunks of pepper in my sauce, just little flecks of flavor. Tickle of salt. A little chili flake. Looking like our pasta water's coming to a boil. Grab a rag. Add a healthy heaping of salt. And today's pasta choice is a cavatelli. A little scoop spiral. Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, that's a double. There. Little scoop, little ridges. All these little ridges will hold on to that sauce. Be delicious. Get all our spices going on in here. Sauce. Just gonna let that roll for a bit. So I'm gonna turn the heat to about a medium on the sauce. Throw a lid on that. Come back and stir it every so often. We're gonna let that cook and let all those flavors marry. About probably 20 minutes. Pasta should be done in about 10. A couple more things to add to the sauce though. Just snag a little tomato paste. I really like these tubes for tomato paste. That way you can just use a little bit and shove that back in the fridge. And you're not having to use the whole can or then repurpose the can into something else. If you don't use the whole tin. And you never know on the total consistency of these tomatoes when you get them out of a box or can. So this sauce is a little bit thin and it's going to reduce a touch as we keep going and cooking. But I know I'm going to want that a little bit heavier as that just slides off the spoon with the oil and how thin that sauce is. So I'm going to tickle the tomato paste into there. Tablespoon maybe. Get that worked in and then just let that cook. Did you ever try to do that when you were a kid? Pat your head, rub your belly? The two different swirls going on at once here? Alright. Just got some little bubbles, so this is getting just to a simmer here. A little bit more than a simmer, so I can turn that down just a touch. That'll work. Throw a lid on that for a bit, let it do its thing. All right, so I just tried a piece of pasta there. Just after al dente, just after where it totally sticks to your tooth. It still has some bite left. So I'm going to pull this off the heat. I'm going to go properly dispose of this somewhere over there. All right, pasta's drained, sauce is coming together nicely. And earlier I had mentioned I have some food allergies. One of them that's really severe is dairy, actually. So it's anaphylactic shock, and it's not a good thing. However, since the vegan craze has taken hold, there's a bunch of products now, like this Parmesan cheese that I'm grating into the pasta sauce, that have come out on the market that I can have some cheese-like things That's pretty awesome. So nutty and salty flavor, what has been described to me very similarly, tasting like Parmesan. And the other cross benefits I'm going to get by using this vegan Parmesan cheese. Side note, I'm not a vegan at all. I eat a ton of meat, but that's not the point. One of the benefits of using this vegan Parmesan cheese is that it's made out of some starches. There's a potato starch in here too. And that's going to help bind the sauce. Right now there's some loose oil sitting on top of the sauce and it hasn't completely emulsified, come together. So adding that little bit of starch from here, and we're going to be getting the Parmesan cheesiness. It'll all come together. All right, that sauce came together beautifully. Let that simmer for a little bit. So let's go ahead and plate this up. Ooh, bug in the pasta. Toss a little olive oil in our leftover pasta so it doesn't become one giant glob. Top these with a little bit of Parmesan. Well, bon appetit, guys. Thanks for hanging out for dinner. Let's give this a shot. It's fantastic. Definitely one of my comfort foods. But that's all for this one, guys. We're going to sit down and enjoy this, watch the rest of the sunset over this beautiful lake in Nebraska. And that'll close out the first leg of the 10K adventure. Next off, we'll be in Colorado. See you guys down the road.